Rob, and Ram. Nobody asked, but we give you our opinions. Acknowledge us like Roman Reigns to all his minions. Coming from the grave like our name was Undertaker. Women's wrestling is cool, but where the hell is Britt Baker? Coherence takes abandon all hope. We talk shit like Ricochet from the top rope. We are marks, sometimes we're friendly. Sometimes we show our whole ass like Mandy. We are discussing what is the latest. Jericho is the GOAT, but Sid is our favorite. We are marks. We are marks.
What's going on, Marks? Welcome back to the podcast, the We Are Marks podcast. Why? Because we are Marks. I am your host. My name is Ram. Rob and Bob. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's going on, America?
How is everybody doing out there?
We got to be feeling great after we got to witness one spectacle of a WrestleMania this weekend. We will dig all the way into that, absolutely. But we got to start with the biggest news of the week. Of course, I know we talked about skipping it facetiously in our text thread, but got to bring it up. Darby Allin is the AEW World's Champion.
Yeah, I'll start on this one. Look, as far as the decision, I said it last week. I do think it's a bad decision. I don't think there's really any great reasoning for it. I didn't care for the match either, the squash of Max. I just think, especially after taking out Hangman and beating Omega, to have that takedown of Max be a quick squash after a low blow was stupid. But the situation is what it is. I do think the best thing they could do in whatever amount of time Darby has as champion is to try to have him wrestle matches versus having the title be wrapped around coffin matches or all the other crap that he does. So that would be my one wish if we're going to do it. At least, try to make him seem like someone that could be the world champion, since he is.
Let me give my best Justin Roberts for this. And now, standing at 5'8", weighing 145 pounds with 4 rocks in his pockets, he is the AEW champion, Darby Allin. Let me explain something to you. Bob said it best last week. The lineage of the AEW championship, and it's only been around for 7 years, so there was bound to happen eventually that we'd have a, Jinder Mahal moment. But we said it last week. Darby Allin has not won a wrestling match in years. Like, his matches are all gimmick matches, coffin matches. He had to use chloroform in a car wreck to beat Gabe Kidd. And all of a sudden, he went up against not John Moxley. I'd rather have John Moxley at this point. He went up against MJF, and it was 4 coffin drops and a takeover cradle lock. Beat your world champion. Are you freaking kidding me? The match itself wasn't even good. If there's one thing I could say, I am curious about what happens next. I can't imagine this being long. I expect Swerve to beat him at Double or Nothing, because we're setting up Will Ospreay versus Swerve at All In. That has to be the match, right? I don't understand why we did this. And I know everyone's saying, oh, MJF's going to shoot a movie. If you're trying to tell me that MJF showed up on Tuesday afternoon and said, oh, by the way, I'm not going to be here for a month, then you guys are fools. This was planned.
Yeah, it was planned. This was their big splash because it was WrestleMania week, to get the conversation about them. I understand that there are plenty of people who, I see that I look at the comments on social media. There's plenty of people who are totally pumped. And this, a lot with the Jey Uso thing I used to yell at you guys about, but this is on a much smaller scale. There's whereas maybe 60% of people were behind Jey Uso at that point in time, I think right now it's a very loud 25% of people on the internet are about Darby Allin as the world champion. And everybody else is kind of like, I mean, look at this guy. This is your world champion. This little boy, this little emo boy is your world's champion right now, and he's gonna face Tommaso Ciampa this week. Is it tonight?
Yeah, it's tonight.
He's gonna face Tommaso Ciampa tonight, and Tommaso Ciampa's gonna take a fall to give Darby Allin a one title defense. And the next time he defends it, he will lose to somebody who's worthy of being the world champion. I have like this weird kind of respect for what Darby Allin does. It's a very weird respect because it's weird what he does, just in my opinion. The way he wrestles is weird. It's not my wrestling, and we'll get more into that when we talk about WrestleMania later, what wrestling is to me. Darby Allin ain't it, bro. This does not, in my opinion, while it is leading off the show and a lot of people are talking about it, so maybe it did deliver. I don't know. But most of it is not positive about Darby Allin being the world champion. And it certainly isn't positive on the We Are Marks podcast. It's kind of funny because just the way that we record, where we're recording as Dynamite's happening. So like by the time we talk about Dynamite, we're talking about last week's episode. So it's always so interesting to hear what we're saying and then watch Dynamite and see how it kind of goes together. But last week, Bob was so passionate. This is a man who was at one time behind Darby Allin. He was passionate about this being quite possibly the dumbest booking decision AEW can do. And that is just so telling to me about what this means for the company. Just seems really foolish to me. Kind of like this is like how you guys feel about the Jinder Mahal title run, where you like just would rather forget it didn't happen. I feel like at some point the fans as a whole, like AEW is going to remind us this guy was AEW world champion for a cup of coffee at one point in 2026. They'll remind us, but by and large, we're going to forget this ever happened as soon as possible.
I completely forgot that Bob at one point said Darby Allin should be world champion. You reap what you sow there, Bob. Congratulations.
Well, I would say that those shows what we talk about when, you talk about these young guys, however many 2-3 years ago, how you got to keep booking that where you are is not necessarily where you're going to stay. And I think, at the time I felt like Darby Allin was someone that maybe they could build into a world champion. But obviously from my take last week, I don't think they've done a very good job, building that over the course of the last 2+ years, I guess, or whenever I said that before.
But Bob, he planted AEW's flag at the top of Mount Everest.
Well, I don't, and to your point about the people being excited about it, I've seen a lot of people say, well, he's a day one guy and he's worked really hard. And, to me, that's all bullshit. That's not what makes the world champion. The world champion should always be someone that you think is the best, could be the best wrestler on the show. I'm not saying one guy needs to hold it the whole time, but it should always be someone. And Darby Allin over the course of the last couple months to years has never been positioned. I mean, a month ago, he was in a car wreck with Gabe Kidd. He wasn't positioned as in the top 5. And I don't think you should be dropping farther than your top 5 guys to be, the world champion.
And everyone's comparing this to, this is the Mick Foley moment. Let me explain something about the Mick Foley moment. One, it was a great moment that put butts in seats. The viewership for this, when they found out that Darby Allin was the main event, dropped dramatically last week. 2, Mick Foley won the title against The Rock because Triple H helped him. He did not squash The Rock. He did not beat The Rock fairly. That was a storyline moment. This wasn't a storyline moment. There's no storyline behind it. Darby Allin beat MJF in a squash match cleanly in the ring. Like, there is nothing behind this other than that.
I don't think we could say it was a clean.
And even the Foley, to the point about Foley, I mean, Mick Foley was always positioned. He was never positioned as the guy, but he was never positioned less than 5, 6, 7.
He was always right there.
He was always right on the cusp of winning and finally accomplished that. Darby Allin has not been positioned as right on the cusp of winning.
I mean, off the top of my head, I know he had 2 title matches before he won the one. He had one against Shawn Michaels, and I believe Stone Cold he had one against as well before he won against The Rock. So, yeah, He was always right there.
Well, I'm going to be honest, guys. It did not make me want to tune into Dynamite tonight. Mostly because I know that when I watch Dynamite, there's going to be one thing to talk about. That's about the best AEW can do for us, other than on a pay-per-view week. And this is the one thing this week. And I assume coming out of it, it's gonna like tonight. Like last week's show was, they did nothing but tell you the entire time Darby Allin was going to win the match. That's what the show was about. The entire thing was about Darby Allin's going to be the world champion tonight. And I think tonight is going to be about Darby's first title defense as the world champion. And everything else is just going to fill in. He's going to win that match, and it is not inspiring, and it doesn't make me want to tune in. I'll tell you that right now.
And I mean, I'm happy for Darby Allin. Don't get me wrong. Like, he worked hard for it. It's just, as everyone's saying, this is not world champion material. He's not. I'm sorry.
No.
He's also 33, so we don't need to give him a lifetime achievement award right now. If he was 45 and was on the cusp of retirement and they did it, maybe I'd have a slightly different view of it and be like, all right, whatever. The guy's been around, but he's 33. He could be built up in 5 years and maybe feel like more of a world champion. There was no reason to hand him this award right now.
See, unless he really bulks up and changes the way he wrestles, I don't think I will ever in my life possibly be able to be convinced Darby Allin is a world champion. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm
not usually one of those people who is like, the big people got to be the world champion, but there is a limit to this. Like, Humberto Carrillo should not be the world champion. Okay, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way towards him. He's a
sort of.
You know what? Actually, hold on. Time out. Humberto Carrillo is a more legitimate world champion than Darby Allin. I'm sorry about it, but that's the truth. He's a better wrestler as well. I don't know if he can cut a promo. I'm not sure what his voice sounds like, but I can tell you I don't like Darby Allin's promos either.
And I'm not saying that in any amount of time we would have felt different about it, but there's a better chance we would feel better about it in the future than there was that we felt good about it last week. Because I can confirm I didn't want to see it happen last week.
At least for people like you, Bob, because at one point you did believe that. But I have, I'm pretty sure I have about 4 years worth of evidence that I never once thought Darby Allin should be the world champion. So
it's just really hard to get behind somebody who uses car crashes and chloroform to win matches. That's sorry.
Chloroform. All right.
Well, chlorophyll, more like chlorophyll.
That's all I got for AEW this week. Other than maybe Bailey's coming over. You guys believe the hype?
I heard Brock Lesnar's coming over.
Oh, Brock Lesnar's going to AEW. Hey, you know what? Obviously, we were going to talk about that, but hey, WWE never said the word retired. Never said the word. So it's very important to note. All right, here we go. Let's talk about WrestleMania this weekend. Night 1. Oh boy, night 1. I seen some posts, and maybe even Rob said it, but it did feel like night 1 was TKO's vision of WWE, and night 2 was actually WrestleMania. I mean, and that thought process, whoever first sparked that into existence, I mean, absolutely nailed it. So let's get into it.
Well, if I could say one thing on that point, just because there may not be a better chance to say it. I do feel like, as an overall thing, that this showed that 2-night shows are very difficult to pull off, especially when you probably have 1 night's worth of material. And that's kind of what I felt like, is that they had 1 night. They could have had this amazing 1-night show. It got spread out, and that's what we got.
I am very positive we have said that for the last 2 years also.
Yeah. I would just like to say this as a guy who has been to the last 1-night WrestleMania and who has been to 2-night WrestleMania. I think I would rather have 2-night WrestleMania than have 8 hours of WrestleMania in one night. Just
Yeah.
Well,
saying.
you'd have to cut matches.
I totally
Well, they
agree.
did cut matches, but that we'll get into
I'm
it.
gonna level with you. Even though night one was not very good, I still just love how much wrestling we get during that weekend. I'm about it. And people complain about the commercials too, and you guys can vent about the commercials. There were, the numbers are out there. There was more commercial time than wrestling time, and people are bitching about that. Honestly, didn't care. Do you know how much food I got to eat because I had so much time to go get it? It was perfect.
Well, I've been to a WrestleMania with
I
you. I
finished
know
a
how you
beer. I
can
got
get.
4 minutes to drink another one, and then I can grab another before the match starts. It's beautiful.
By the time night 2 of WrestleMania 40 was over, that snack stand vendor knew you by name.
Yeah. Well, it's night one. Night one, I went to the snack stand a lot of times because I was just so goddamn cold. But that's that.
Among other things.
No comment. All right, gentlemen. LA Knight and the Usos defeated Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and I Show Speed. I mean, we do need to spend a lot of time on this. So, gentlemen, why don't you get started?
Rob said it wasn't the match for me. It wasn't the match for me. You were correct about that. I thought not only did I not care about it, I didn't think it was particularly good match. But I kind of thought the Usos would win since they're not the champions, and maybe we'll get a rematch, I guess, since they got that win at Mania.
Yeah, I think we're more setting up Logan Paul versus I Show Speed somewhere down the line. Maybe at Backlash, maybe at SummerSlam, but I feel like Logan Paul versus I Show Speed is going to happen, which kind of sucks because I know we just talked about Darby Allin. We all sat here and said Logan Paul could be world champion. And if he's in matches versus I Show Speed, then I feel like that's a step back for the Maverick here. I was impressed by I Show Speed's physique. I will say that. I did not expect him to look like that. He looked
dude,
pretty
he's
good.
a supreme athlete.
Yeah,
Full disclosure.
That montage,
he's a supreme athlete.
That montage did a lot of things for him. So,
all right. So here's what I'm going to say. Just Bob, the idea, the Logan Paul I Show Speed idea, is honestly terrific marketing for the WWE. And I can just say, just from my own household, I had WrestleMania on. Me and Brady were watching it, obviously. My oldest kid comes up the stairs he liked wrestling when he was much younger, and he doesn't give two shits now. But he walked by the TV, he said, "Is that I Show Speed?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I Show Speed's a wrestler?" I was like, "Well, he's just having this one match." And then he stood there and he watched it for a little bit. And then he came downstairs to my middle kid, who has absolutely zero interest in wrestling, and said, "Carter, I Show Speed is on WrestleMania right now." So, while it's not for us, and I understand that, just the idea of these two who have some of the biggest followings on social media just plastering their upcoming WWE match, it's going to get more kids like that to turn it on.
So that's a good point. Let me ask a question, and I don't know what the answer is going to be.
The answer is, okay, go ahead.
So they watch I Show Speed versus Logan Paul. Do they then sit down and say, "Dad, I want to watch the rest of the show with you," or I'll get out of here and go watch
honestly
YouTube?
What happened? Night one, no, went back downstairs. Night two came along, and my oldest said, "Dad, I'll watch it with you tonight."
Okay.
And he sat and he watched pretty much up until the match before the main event, up until Rhea and Jade.
Well, I'll concede then that maybe it's working, because if they're just coming to watch the celebrities that they know and they leave, then I don't see what that's really doing to help viewership.
I'm sure there were people who sat there and said, "I Show Speed is on." These, team, what are they, 10-year-olds that like I Show Speed? I don't know. By the way, follow us on YouTube so we could be like I Show Speed.
I Show Speed is incredibly popular.
I know. The only reason I know I Show Speed is because he showed up at the Royal Rumble.
I would say, number one, Brady loves him already, and he's 8. But I think his core demo is 12-22.
Okay. So, but yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. It served its purpose. It was opening WrestleMania to get eyeballs on it. And even if the 100% of people that were there for iShow's Speed, only 10% of them stuck around for a little bit, then it served its purpose, because that's 10% more than what would have been. They knew what this match was supposed to do. They did it well.
Yeah, and also just the views on social media that
Right.
WWE will get credit for all those views, and they definitely make money off of that.
This match was not for us.
I'll let iShow Speed have a match as long as they then equal or more so give me the matches I want. Then I'll watch the matches that aren't for me.
Let's get Topanga in the ring.
Oh, she's
I'd
still,
watch
my
that.
God.
Big
Her and
fan,
Jennifer
man.
Aniston, I don't think age. Just so like,
She's
Man.
a big fan. I mean, yeah. So anyway, we had the next match, which was Jacob Fatu defeating Drew McIntyre on sanctioned match.
It's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the WWE hardcore unsanctioned stuff. I just don't think they do it as well. I wish they would do other gimmicks, but I thought this was pretty good and got Jacob his much needed big win to close a feud that I feel like he's been lacking since he's kind of moved up the ladder a little bit. So that was good, and we'll see what happens with Drew.
you know how I feel about Drew McIntyre. He's the original Cody Rhodes. I love Drew. I love Drew's story. I've been saying it for a while, and I feel like this is who he is. He's the gatekeeper to the main event, and if he's okay with that, so be it. I personally would like to see if he can go somewhere else and see what he can do there, though the only other place to go, the 140-pound man, is their champion. So maybe this is the best place for him, but I don't think he's ever going to hold that title ever again. So match was all right.
I think he should wrestle for whatever that promotion is that's going to be in Allen or at Allenville.
WXW.
Yeah, come on down, Drew.
Yo, just on a side note here for the 30 people who are listening to this, support your local wrestling because your favorite wrestlers start somewhere. I will always say that. WXW coming back to Mountainville.
Hell yeah. And that is in the place where I used to play basketball, where the Wild Samoans came to watch me play specifically.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll get free tickets.
Guys, you got to tell me how you guys feel about this very specifically. Paige returns. Her and Brie Bella are the new women's tag team champions.
Honestly, I don't care. I don't care. I respect the fact that some people care. It didn't get me excited. I guess the Bellas will probably turn on her at some point. Nikki will probably take that championship, but I don't really care. I mean, honestly, when she was in AEW, we kind of wanted her to leave, so it does not do much for me.
Oh, I mean, it was a nice pop. I'm glad that they won the titles, I guess. Paige Saraya, whatever you want to call her, I have a soft spot for her because anytime you're told you can't do what you love and you work your ass off back to do it, I'm okay with that. But as far as the moment goes, it just felt like they did it for moment's sake. What's next? Because as you said, Nikki and Brie are the tag champions technically. Like eventually one of them's going to turn on her. Did anybody see the photo of it was Brie, Nikki, AJ Lee, and Paige? And Nikki Bella said the original Four Horsemen, and Bailey went, "I have never heard anybody call you guys that ever."
I mean, I felt the exact same way.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I'm like, you guys aren't even in the same era. Like you're not. AJ Lee was before all of you.
Yeah.
I also don't understand some of the weird nostalgia people have. Like, I respect Paige. She's had you know, some things happen that I feel bad for, but like this ain't, you know, The Rock didn't show up and tag with Brie Bella. Like I don't really understand some of the nostalgia people have for some
I
of these
mean,
people.
nostalgia is a hell of a thing. Assassin's Creed 4 is getting a remake, and I am most excited about that video game more than anything. So,
Yeah. Honestly, though, I think I probably would have gotten more excited if it wasn't already on the internet that she was going to be there.
Well, that was hilarious. That Michael Cole is
see, that's
shot.
kind of like the one thing that was like right now. I'm just like real frustrated with the social media because like you don't even have to follow these pages. It'll just be like
Yeah.
recommended for you. Here's an article telling you Paige is re-signing with the WWE. And then as soon as I saw Nikki Bella come out with on crutches with a microphone, I was like, oh, this is going to be Paige. And it was Paige. So I feel like I am a fan of Paige. I feel like if I would have just been completely surprised about it, I would have had a different feeling. But it was just kind of like, I seen that coming.
and
That was the first time though all weekend that I was a little like, what the hell with Michael Cole? I get that he probably was told to act a certain way, but the timing of him being like, oh, this is super shocking. And then they cut to a sign that says, welcome back, Paige. It's like, this guy knows less than the fans.
Yeah, true that. But, you know, I feel like at the same time, these women's tag team championships are just in a spot where it didn't need this to happen to them. I really felt like Nia and Lash are like a real good tag team. You could have dominate a bunch of babyface women and build up the division a little bit. And they put them on Brie and Paige, which is like, number one, when are we even going to see them defend them, if at all, until the next pay-per-view? I guess maybe, but even then, who are they going to wrestle that I'm going to be like, yeah, put that match on the pay-per-view?
Well,
And-
I assume Nikki's going to be back pretty soon because they thought she was 50-50 for WrestleMania. So what I would do is have Nikki kick Paige out, beat her up, and then have Paige and AJ at SummerSlam or whatever challenge the Bellas.
yeah, but I mean, to Ram's point, I mean, we've been talking about months and months that we wanted to get these main eventers out of the freaking tag team scene. And that's why I thought Lyra and Bailey would be great for it. And you are on mute or something. I don't know what you're doing. Anyway, so, but like, but yeah, and now you're talking like we're gonna have a nostalgia match between AJ and Paige versus the Bella Twins, which I think we've already done at a WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken. I think this
Well,
has already
Yeah, that
happened.
was AJ's
That's
last
true.
WrestleMania
And well,
match.
Right.
that's kind of what I was going to say. I just found it kind of funny that Bob is out here pitching Brie Bella and Nikki Bella against Paige and AJ Lee on a pay-per-view. That's a little much for me, bud.
Well, I counter what Rob said. I'm trying to find ways to get the main event women out of the tag team division. Let the nostalgia
Yeah.
acts go on.
I mean, well then, mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. We've gotten it off of main event women and onto a real tag team. All right. Oh my gosh, we've done it. Okay. Well, here we go. Becky Lynch is the new Intercontinental Champion as she defeats AJ Lee. I mean,
I hated the match. I thought the match sucked. I am so tired of this referee versus Becky Lynch storyline that it's silly. I don't really get it. Then they did the push thing. I mean, AJ was like a secondary player in this match that was supposed to be her big WrestleMania comeback. So I don't know. I guess maybe Becky will defend the Intercontinental title against the referee or something.
So every backlash, we get that one match that was ridiculous. Last year was Pat McAfee versus Gunther. We got Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest one year. There's always that one match that you're just like, all right, this is dumb. You know who's gonna win, but you really want to see it anyway. I want Becky Lynch versus Jessica Carr for that title. That's what I want. Give me it.
I mean, to be a referee, you got to have
Same.
wrestling training, right?
Well, she trained to be a wrestler, and then something happened or some shit, and she ended up being a referee. So she does know how to wrestle.
I mean, screw it, give it to me.
Yeah, why not?
I want to see what Jessica Carr looks like in some trunks.
That's the only payoff that I can think is going to happen with this.
Maybe tape her hands up or something.
Oh,
Like a
Taipei
warrior.
death match. Here we go.
You look like a warrior out there. What if she? Well, no, she should win. She should win.
Yeah, then Becky Lynch could be a main eventer. I like. You want to know what? I'm in. I'm in.
Becky Lynch.
That though is part of the problem with night one. It wasn't as bad in night two, but why is WrestleMania building the backlash?
I said that last week.
I mean, we'll talk about it more in the main event, but like, what the fuck? I mean, it's WrestleMania. It's supposed to be a Super Bowl, and we're building a week one.
I can tell you that I have seen them do that at WrestleMania a few times, and like one that really sticks out to me was AJ and Shinsuke from back in the day, where that was essentially a face versus a face, and then if I'm not mistaken, Shinsuke turned on him after the match, right?
Yeah,
and that was literally just setting up to turn Shinsuke heel post WrestleMania. So that was almost like set up from the Royal Rumble. Like from the Royal Rumble, we were working to set up Backlash. So it's not quite that bad, but it honestly felt to me, and I mean, we could get into the main event right now since it's not the main event of the entire show. So we'll get into that right now. It really felt to me like they were retconning a lot of the things that were dumb as shit, including the Pat McAfee thing, which if I'm not mistaken, and his wife posted on social media, he's done with the wrestling business. He's done, which is extremely interesting. Again, because listening to last week's episode, and listening to other podcasts, people were pretty damn convinced going into WrestleMania that not only was Pat McAfee going to be involved night one, but Pat McAfee was going to be involved in night two. And there was like a growing concern that this is going to be some long-term. Whereas like I was on the other side, bro. I was like, no, he has to be involved after WrestleMania, or else this was the dumbest shit that I have ever seen in the build-up to WrestleMania. And as it turned out, it was the dumbest shit that I have ever seen in the lead up to WrestleMania involving one of your world championships. Again, we're talking about the main event now. Cody retained over Randy Orton, which was insanely interesting because Pat McAfee got blasted out of the match. He gets put on a stretcher, comes sprinting back out with a neck brace on out of nowhere. Counts about as slow as any referee has ever counted. Why? I have no idea. And then he gets up. Randy Orton RKO's him. I'm like, so now we're on this thing where it was like at one point there, I was like, they're doing a double turn here. Like Cody is gonna be the heel coming out of this match. No. Didn't happen. Pat McAfee came back. Okay, Randy is the heel. Okay, I see. And then Randy Orton RKO's Pat McAfee. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe he's not the heel. Maybe Cody is going to be the heel coming out of this. And then after the match, Randy Orton beats the shit out of Cody, punts him in the face, breaks his orbital bone. Nope, Randy Orton's the heel. So now it's like, okay, they just wanted to retcon Pat McAfee out of this story, and then we're going to continue post WrestleMania with Randy as the heel, chasing Cody as the champion. If Cody can even keep the championship, because that looked pretty bad, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, this gets thrown out a lot, but I thought that main event was straight out of WCW. None of it made sense. Randy wrestled like a baby face for a lot of it. And I mean, Cody, sometimes mixes in some gray when he wrestles and kind of wrestles to win versus a typical baby face. But throughout the match, like Ram said, I felt like Randy was kind of going as the baby face. And then the finish, with McAfee coming out and seeming to help Orton, but actually very much helping Cody. made no sense. And the fact that it doesn't seem like we're going to do a follow-up or even talk about Pat McAfee again is shocking. I felt like he was going to come out at some capacity on night 2. Obviously, we'll get to that, but that part does not happen. So who knows? Maybe we've truly retconned and everyone will forget it ever happened.
If we retconned, I'm glad we retconned. All right. And you're right that I don't want to talk. We discussed not talking about night 1 at all. That's how bad night 1 was. And I've gone on record. I put it on our TikTok. I put it on our social media. I feel like night 1 was made by TKO to get your celebrities, get your nonsense, your rah-rah, what they think wrestling was. And that's what they think wrestling is, because you're right. It was WCW. It was nonsense. It was chaos. It was Attitude Era BS that got ratings back then. That's not going to get ratings now. And it's not. I'm sorry. The Attitude Era is dead. Now, what do they do next? Because I kept saying there'd be a tag match between, Orton and McAfee with Jelly Roll and Cody Rhodes. I don't think that's happening. I still would like to see Randy Orton beat him for that title, but Raw kind of made it seem weird. And I don't know what's going on anymore, but I do know this. That match sucked, and I got really upset with WrestleMania after it was over so much that I couldn't enjoy night 2 until Monday morning, and I watched it again. I'm being serious, because we'll talk about it. After night 2, I was pissed off still, and I had to go back and watch night 2 to remember what good wrestling was.
We'll see what they do on Friday, but I'm of the mindset now. I wouldn't hate if Randy Orton became the champion, but I just don't see that in the cards after WrestleMania. I think Cody's going to probably beat him one more time, and if whatever dream of Orton winning his 15th, that's going to be held off until a later date.
Hunter said you can't tie me. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
I'm on the other side of the boat there. Actually, I do think Randy is going to be the world champion at some point.
Yeah, I think
possibly this orbital bone situation for Cody is ultimately why. Maybe it wasn't the plan, but we got to do something here. But I'm very curious to see. I'm very curious to see, Randy without Pat McAfee being the heel.
See, but here's the thing. It's hard to boo Randy Orton, man. I don't think you're going to get him the heel.
Well, I mean, ultimately just be his old Viper self and you're a heel. I mean,
but we love that. He got cheered throughout the whole night, dude.
The kids don't.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And, ultimately we're talking about Cody Rhodes here, so that's who cares.
Maybe he can beat Matt Cardona's ass again and get some heel heat.
There you go.
That worked the first time.
Real heel heat.
Break the other arm.
All right. Going backwards now on night 1, Gunther defeated Seth Rollins. The return of Braun Breaker. Before you guys talk, I just want to say I think Braun Breaker has regressed as a professional wrestler. At one point, I said he had the greatest spear in the business. I said it was the best spear I'd ever seen in my life. And now it might be worse than Jey Uso's, because I don't know if he got hurt at some point, and now he kind of shies away from contact, if you will. But he went from a perfect form tackle to, one of those DBs who just tries to get you at the knee, and he just kind of throws his body into the guy and bounces off. How many times have you guys watched it? I have no idea. But if you go back and you watch that first spear he tried to deliver to Seth Rollins, it didn't look great, because Seth had to force himself onto the ground. Whereas with a spear, you shouldn't have to sell that motherfucker. I'm sorry, bud. You shouldn't have to sell that motherfucker. And then the second one, when he sprinted down the ramp like that, it just looked so bad, bro. It looked real bad. And his promos have not improved at all. So it went from, this was his calling card. Honest to God, is like His spear is what makes him him. It's like Goldberg's spear and jackhammer. That is Braun Breaker. And when the spear looks bad, I think he looks bad. And it has looked pretty bad as of late, for sure.
Yeah, the Spears definitely showed why he was there at the Raiders Stadium as a wrestler and not a member of the Las Vegas Raiders. There was a little bit of air between him and Seth Rollins. But I thought the match itself was good. I mean, obviously, we were very, very hungry for some good wrestling at that point. And, it was pretty good, but it was short. I wish it was not so storyline based with Breaker coming back. I wish they just let these guys go, especially with the way the rest of the matches were on the card. I understand the story. I understand bringing Braun Breaker back, but kind of just wish they could have done that the next night or something instead of ruining what could have been a very good match if they just let those guys go.
Yeah, I was okay with Braun Breaker. I thought that's what was going to happen. You had to protect both those guys. You're not going to have Seth Rollins lose his first match, and you're not going to have Gunther lose any match. So I thought that's what the plan was. To Ram's point, didn't Braun Breaker dislocate his shoulder?
That could be it. That could be it.
I'm thinking that
not delivering it the way he delivered it, and that was like 50% of his juice.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if he dislocated his shoulder while giving a 28-mile-per-hour spear, and someone's trying to teach him how not to do it, and I don't know.
Jey Uso's showing him how to do a spear.
Yeah, Jay showing him how to do it.
Jey Uso got over by doing a half-ass spear. So
that's hilarious.
But yeah, I thought the match was good. I thought this is how it was going to end, and it was pretty much chalk for me.
Yeah. Liv Morgan is the new women's champion. She defeats Stephanie Vaquer. There is only one thing really to talk about in this match. Number one, the Oblivion is a fantastic finisher. And number two, that entrance by Liv. I tell you what. Yep.
Yeah, that entrance was something. But this was another example for me. I mean, you built up this match, and I just thought it was basically something you'd see on Raw. It's WrestleMania, and they gave them 6 minutes. I get it, but we're gonna do interference bullshit Raw finish at WrestleMania. I mean, it pissed me off, to be honest. I just felt like I get having some of this stuff, but you could also provide us with that other half. You can have the stuff that's not for me, not for us, but give us a little something. And I thought that match could have been a lot better.
To your point, night one was every match. Every single match had a run in. Every single match had nonsense. Every single match had something. The only one that didn't was the match that was supposed to be nonsensical, the unsanctioned match, and that didn't live up to an unsanctioned fight. So I agree with you that night one was just WCW.
Yeah, the matches were very short, and you can go to night two and find a lot of that as well. The matches were very short. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me to find out that there was an equal amount of time for entrances as actual wrestling, which again doesn't bother me that much. Sorry, guys.
Well, there was 45 minutes between Becky's match and Cody and Randy.
And you know what? Both nights the show was over before 10 p.m. and I appreciated that.
I did like the fact that it started at 6 and I could be in bed by 10.
Well, especially night one, because night one gave you a chance to watch something else that maybe made you happier than watching WrestleMania before you went to bed. So.
Girls jumping on trampolines. That's an old man show reference.
Ziggy Zaggy. Oh, man.
So I'll give night one a T+ grade, and let's kick it over to night two. Starting out with the ruler, Oba Femi, defeating Brock Lesnar in convincing fashion. And then something happened post-match. But I thought the match was done exquisitely. Perfect. It was exactly what needed to happen is exactly what happened. Thank you, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, this was the only match on the show that I thought, well, maybe the main event of night two, that I thought didn't need more time. I thought this was perfect for what it was.
Okay.
Yeah,
ahead.
no, it was great. I know Brock Lesnar gets a lot of shit, but if this was his last match, the man's been doing this for over 20 years, on and off. You know, there was a time where he was the king of this. And yeah, I hope he enjoys shooting gophers in Canada. So good luck to you, Brock.
Yeah, the one thing I do want to say about that, number one, I do not think it's the last time we see Brock Lesnar. Number two, it was 100% scripted. No matter what Triple H wants to tell you, it was 100% scripted because the camera would not have hung on Brock Lesnar in the ring for that long unless it was scripted. So don't tell me that you didn't know it was going to happen. Don't tell me Obafemi came out on the first Raw after first Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, said one word and dropped the mic because the plan was for Obafemi and Brock Lesnar to continue their feud, but now they don't know what to do because Brock Lesnar retired without their knowledge. Don't tell me that's the case because it's not. So don't. When you have a giant, massive moment like Obafemi had here at WrestleMania, where he defeated Brock Lesnar, this isn't some slap. This is a certified badass, and this rookie shows up and puts him down in 4 minutes, and then in the post-show interview, you have Oba take a little, not a shot, but call out essentially the world champion Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns responds. And then what you do on the Raw after WrestleMania, and yes, I am also talking about the Raw after WrestleMania now. And what you give us on that first Raw after WrestleMania is Obafemi saying one fucking phrase, dropping the mic. And then at the end of the show, when the tribal chief is in the ring, and you know damn well everybody's like, please be Oba, please be Oba, please be Oba. And then you give us someone we love, like Jacob Fatu, but it's not Obafemi. This is like, what was that Royal Rumble where Rey Mysterio came out at 30?
Yeah,
that is essentially what just happened to Jacob Fatu because that crowd didn't give two shits. And I went, oh, it's Jacob Fatu? And that should not be my reaction to Jacob Fatu against Roman Reigns. But that is what we got because I wanted it to be Oba. And you're giving me, not only are you giving me Jacob Fatu, and Rob, shake your head, not only are you giving me Jacob Fatu, I know with 100% confidence Jacob Fatu will not win that match.
So you would rather have Oba lose to Roman Reigns at
Incorrect.
Backlash?
Incorrect. No. I would rather have Obafemi defeat Roman Reigns.
Get the fuck out of here. You are not having
Backlash.
Roman Reigns hold that belt for a month. Obafemi is beating Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. It's happening.
I don't think so.
I
think we are waiting till WrestleMania 43.
We're not waiting till
Obafemi is going to win the title in Saudi Arabia.
Roman Reigns is beaten by Obafemi at WrestleMania. You know what's going to happen in Saudi at WrestleMania?
Exactly.
Jey Uso is going to get that.
Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? He said,
all right,
Obafemi is going to defeat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
We've been over this. Shut the fuck up and let me talk. Obafemi is beating Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Jey Uso is winning the Ulafala at Saudi Arabia. Roman Reigns is retiring.
He might. There was a supposedly an interview in Vanity Fair where he said he was only had a year or two left. He was done.
I believe Obafemi wins the King. I've said this for months now. Obafemi wins the King of the Ring. He beats Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Jey Uso will get that Ulafala at SummerSlam, and we'll have a new head of the table.
I mean, you know,
I don't know.
WrestleMania.
I think I'm thinking Gunther faces Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
I think Gunther faces Cody Rhodes.
I think CM Punk
right now they're on
seems
different shows. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I think CM Punk is going to face Cody Rhodes.
I think Gunther's facing Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam.
I think you're both wrong. I think Oba faces Roman at WrestleMania. I think Punk faces Cody at WrestleMania. We have our WrestleMania main events for 43 already set up one day after WrestleMania. And you know what? That's the long-term storytelling that I am looking for.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure
but you
that'll
want Oba
stand
Femi to
badly.
come out the night after. Shut up. You want Oba Femi to come out the night after Raw, beat Roman
Yeah.
Reigns, but you want a long story, year-long storytelling?
That no, that was sarcasm. If that was not clear, that was very clear sarcasm. I don't want that to be what happens. I'm telling you, that's what's happening. That's not a prediction.
believe it's
That's a
SummerSlam.
spoiler, and
That's
I'm
it.
not
We're gonna
loving
have a
it
hair versus beard bet.
because you need to capitalize on Oba now.
You want to put your hair up?
Remember the card subject to change though, because 5 months ago we were talking about Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania. Then we were talking about Drew versus Cody at WrestleMania. And then we were talking about a triple threat with Jacob Fatu, and then somehow we landed on Cody and Randy Orton.
I think they should have just fucked off with the OG bloodline bullshit, and Oba should have beat Roman last night on Monday Night Raw. That's what should have happened. All right. The Intercontinental Championship ladder match was won by Penta, and I got to be honest with you guys, last week, and this is one of 2 times this happened this weekend. Last week, I predicted Rusev was going to win for absolutely no reason. And then Penta won, and I went, duh, of course Penta won. And that's going to happen again later. Don't worry.
Yeah, I thought during the match, Javon was going to win, especially near the end. But Penta winning is fine. I like Penta. Look, it was a good match. I mean, I said about the unsanctioned matches and the hardcore matches. I don't think they're fit WWE, but they do put on a hell of a ladder match, and that was one as well, which had me once again asking for the Money in the Bank to come back to WrestleMania, because it was a great way to end, I guess, that first hour. It was a good match.
Yeah, so I also picked Rusev because why not? But in all reality, Penta's a great Intercontinental Champion. Fans love him, puts on good matches. Why not? Out of the 6 of them, he made the most sense to have that title.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you what, my son loved this match. He did want Rey Mysterio to win, but he also kept getting confused between him and Rey Fenix. He wasn't sure which one was which most of the time, but he did want Rey Mysterio to win, so that was a little disappointing. But yeah, of course Penta won. He was the only one that really made sense for him to win, honestly.
Hell of a performance by Rey Mysterio, by the way.
Oh,
Giving
yes,
Adam Copeland some hope for All In, that performance from Rey Mysterio.
All right, guys, we're running really long, and the main event is going to take some time. So let's get through these next 3 matches pretty quick. Not too much to talk about. Trick Williams and Sami Zayn. Trick Williams is the new United States champion. This was pretty much just let Trick celebrate at the end.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty much a TV match. This one I wish got a little bit more time, but I get Trick's not the greatest worker, so whatever. Happy you won. Cool entrance.
I'm really shocked that his trail when he came for his entrance didn't have just a bunch of ads on it. They missed an opportunity there.
That was insane.
Missed an opportunity.
Yeah, that's it. Trick Williams, new United States champion. The Demon, Finn Balor, defeats Dominic Mysterio in a street fight. I thought this match went a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Honestly, I thought the Dom was going to get squashed, and there was a point in time where I was like, "Are they really going to have Dom beat the Demon?" But no, of course not.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think we'd go that long with the street fight rules. I kind of figured maybe they'd let Dom get some cheap offense in, but it was definitely overall a little bit more competitive. I was surprised that they went back to the well on this on Raw. I was kind of hoping that Finn Balor would move on from the Judgment Day feud, move on to something else, but I guess we're locked into this one again at Backlash.
Well, now he has to beat him as regular Finn Balor.
There you go.
Does he?
Yeah. That's how it works. It's like when Darby Allin was going through the Death Riders and then he had to work his way back down. It's the same thing here with Finn Balor. Yeah. If Finn Balor beats you as the Demon, he also has to beat you as regular Finn Balor for it to count.
Oh, so the Demon doesn't count.
If Dom wins, who does he wrestle as for the third match?
Well, then he has to go back to the Demon.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway. Rhea Ripley defeats Jade Cargill to become the new WWE Women's Champion. This was the best match Jade Cargill's ever had. Can't tell me otherwise.
For sure.
I thought she looked clean and crisp. And I'm sure it had a lot to do with Rhea Ripley, but I thought she looked smooth in there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you put that match on night one, it might have been the best match of night one. I guess Gunther and Seth, but it would have been that far behind. I did not expect, or I guess I thought Jade would win, but I thought the EO would turn on Rhea, which I still thought was happening during the match, but I don't know. Sort of think we'll get that one eventually to get that title match.
I will say the subtle storytelling of it was power versus power, yet a counter wrestling technique is what won. I thought it was nicely done.
Yeah, that was very good. All right, guys. In the main event, Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, the OTC, is the new World Heavyweight Champion as he defeats CM Punk.
I thought it was a great match. I thought Punk, he said it a year ago in a promo. Game 7, Michael Jordan. That was his Game 7 Michael Jordan performance in the biggest match of his life. I'm not, if you want to call it the best match of his life, that's up to you. But I thought it was great. I mean, Roman played his part well, but I just thought Punk was incredible. I thought the story of the match was great. Punk just continuously trying to not give up and to win that match. And like I said to you guys, it's been a long time since mainstream Punk has felt like the guy we fell in love with. And, him down on his knees, a bloody mess with the fans in the back chanting CM Punk, looking at Roman Reigns, the big WWE superstar. It brought back some feelings that have been gone for a long time, and towards his matches and towards a WWE match in general. So I thought it was great. I wish he won, but it was not. That doesn't take away from the match. It was great.
So when this match ended, I texted you guys and I said, "So what's the story? Punk just wasn't good enough, and Roman was right." And we got into this little argument about it. And I'm sitting in bed because I can't sleep because sleep is for the weak. And it dawned on me. Yeah, that was the story. Punk gave it his all. Punk left everything in the ring. Punk fired shot after shot. He got dirty. He did it all. And it just wasn't good enough. And I had to watch it again because I didn't appreciate it because night one pissed me off that much. So Monday morning, before I went to work, I watched it again. And let me tell you, there was beauty. That Ram's going to tell you that that's what pro wrestling is, and he's exactly right. That was pro wrestling. That was a story that was told inside of a ring with two guys at their very best. Punk left it all out there, and it still wasn't good enough. His body gave out on him at the end. His fight was still there, but those old bones just couldn't take it anymore. And man, what a poetic ending it was. A+.
In all honesty, Rob buried the lead, but this is pro wrestling to me. I told you guys in a text, I'll say it live for anyone who's listening to this right now. For all the 5-star matches AEW has put on, they don't hold a candle to this for me. This was pure cinema, told in chapters that you could actually break down into 3 segments of the first segment of I'm trying to get in the other guy's head to I'm anything you can do, I can do better, to now we're just going to slug it out and may the best man win. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It might be the best match I've ever seen, just in terms of not only these two selling their asses off. And I always have so much appreciation because these guys are going in. They know they're losing. They know they're going to lose. So it's always just extra to me to see guys like really go for it. And these two delivered a WrestleMania main event, and I'm going to run you guys through previous WrestleMania main events. I can't think of one that is better. I really can't. I mean, you can go back to Shawn and Taker. I've seen that. I've seen Mark Henry said, I think it was, that it was the best WrestleMania main event since Shawn and Taker. But was that the last match on the show?
Yeah. Well, the second one, the career-ending match was.
I mean, that's what, just I'm just looking back through Randy and Cody this year, better than that. John and Cody last year, better than that. The triple threat with Roman, Seth, and Punk, good match, better than that. Roman and Cody at 40 obviously had fantastic moments, but this was a better wrestling match than that. Roman and The Rock against Cody and Seth, fuck it. The first Roman and Cody match, better than that. Jimmy and Jay against KO and Sammy, good match, better than that. Roman and Brock, get the fuck out of here. Steve Austin and Kevin Owens, get the fuck out of here. Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Edge, not interested. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, probably the second best match on the list so far. Not better than this match. We have Brock and Drew, the Boneyard match. Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky, cool moment, not anywhere close to this match. Roman and Brock at 34. Roman and Taker at 33. Roman and Triple H. There's a pattern here. No way. We have the Money in the Bank cash-in. Again, fantastic moment. Slugfest.
Very good.
Not better than this match. No way. Randy Orton, Batista, Daniel Bryan. Again, fantastic moment. Not a better match than this. The Rock and John Cena back-to-back. No way. The Miz and John Cena. No way. We get the Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker at 26. You can argue that they are 1 and 2 in terms of WrestleMania main events. And you can continue to go back. And, a lot of these matches aren't fresh in the memory, but this might be up there with Shawn and Taker as the best WrestleMania main events of all time. You can go to the Iron Man match with Shawn and Brett. I know we're not really huge fans of 60-minute matches with one fall. This is up there with the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time. And without a doubt.
I wouldn't just say the WrestleMania main event.
WrestleMania match, yeah.
I put it in matches in general, like WWE matches, and I know everyone has their taste, and you can sit here and tell me about AEW, and AEW is cool to watch and stuff like that. But we were excited when they tell a little bit of a story in AEW.
This was brilliant.
This was storytelling 101 by two guys who knew exactly what to do.
And you can say, you can look at the way Punk's matches have gone since he came back, and it always has kind of been I am still CM Punk, but I definitely don't have a lot of the tools that I used to have, but I'm finding a way to win. And then he came up against the best in the business, Roman Reigns, and he was right there, man. If he could have just gotten him for that one more GTS, he might have won this match, and he just didn't have any gas left in the tank, and Roman Reigns did.
And that's what I thought too. I started going back.
It is rare that I leave a match. I wanted CM Punk to win. I still wish CM Punk would have won. It is rare for me to leave a match where the guy I wanted to win didn't win, and I'm still like, that was maybe the greatest match I've ever seen.
And again, to your point, we were there for WrestleMania 40 for that moment, but when was the last time a WrestleMania main event didn't end in nonsense?
Yeah.
There was no nonsense. There was no run-ins. There was no screw job. There was nothing like that. This was two guys having a pure wrestling match, minus the steps, which Bob is very upset that wasn't a disqualification. But
that was definitely the dumbest part of the match.
I thought that in the moment. I was kind of like, can he do that? But then
I think actually one of you two texted when it was
I texted you guys. I was like, that's a disqualification.
I think it might be legal because just like the announcers table, they don't get disqualified for putting someone through the announcers table because it's part of the ring. It's part of it.
I
like,
think you're
Yeah,
kind
not
of
that the
making up a
chairs
rule there
not.
because Barrett had to try to say something to justify it, because I think he was thinking the same thing, because didn't he say like, oh well, the ref, it's the
Yeah, I
main
mean,
event.
it is
I
right?
think
referee's
he said something
discretion.
along the lines of you don't want to. This doesn't want to end in disqualification or something like that.
But yeah, I mean, I've been trying to, since you brought up that stat, trying to think of WrestleMania main events, and I mean, I think the last 25 years, it's got to be no worse than top 5, and I think it would be probably closer to higher on that list too.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, I mean, and to be honest, I felt like this overwhelming joy just for the man CM Punk, and I know that there are people out there who don't like the man CM Punk. I would say more people don't like the man CM Punk than don't like the wrestler CM Punk. I'm sure there are wrestling fans of CM Punk who don't like him as a person. I did. If I was in the position of CM Punk, me myself, if I was in the position of CM Punk, I feel like I would be CM Punk. I feel like I see so much in. I feel like he's so relatable to someone like me, who's like, no, I didn't grow up like on the streets, but I definitely didn't grow up wealthy, and I had 7 siblings who I was, competing for. And I've always just kind of been, especially with authority, just like, I don't give a fuck what you have to say to me. So I feel so like CM Punk is so relatable to someone like me, and I like him as a person, and I understand him as a person. So I just felt like so much joy, because especially before Cult of Personality even hit, before he even walked through the curtain, he had this smile on his face, like, holy shit, like, I was in a main event last year, but this is what I've wanted my entire life. And the fact that he was losing didn't fucking matter, because he achieved the goal he wanted to achieve in his life. And I think that is a beautiful moment as well. And the promo he cut on Monday Night Raw, while a little corny at points, was very empowering. That is an empowering mindset to have.
Well, I think with CM
I
Punk,
enjoyed the whole thing.
he's a perfectly imperfect person, and so are all of us if we're willing to admit it. And I think that's why Punk resonates with so many people, and most people also have been told no for reasons that are outside of their control, which makes CM Punk also very relatable as well.
And that's what I wanted to say. Phil Brooks, the person, finally accomplished what he set out to do when he was 16 years old and started his own backyard wrestling. This has been his dream his entire life. So, Phil Brooks, I know you're probably never going to hear this, but congratulations, man, because you did what many people never will. You accomplished your dream, and I can't take anything away from that, man.
Yeah, you got to figure less than 100 people in the history of mankind have main evented WrestleMania.
Right. And
So
it took him, there were twists and turns in his story, but by God, CM Punk finally did it.
Company. And one more little note, and I know, Rob, you're going to tell me how much you love this song. That was the second or third time I've heard that AFI song. And this is the first time. This is the first time that I actually like heard it and felt it, and I was like, "Damn, you should just come out to that."
Dude,
it sounded
awesome. That bass line hit, and
it really
I got
sounded.
goosebumps.
It sounded like entrance music for like a big match. That's what it felt like. I was like, "He should just come out to that," because it's just like
bass line hit.
It's just like bass and then like scream something. I don't know what they were saying, but it was just like bass line, scream something, bass line, scream something. And I was like, damn, this hits right now.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of Major League Baseball closers that now come out to that song.
Yeah, definitely. All right, gentlemen. Well, that's about it. That's what we got. WrestleMania in the books. We got a long road to get back to. This is typically a little bit of a boring time for wrestling. Maybe AEW will pick up the slack for us heading into All In, All Out, and whatever else they have going on. Owen Cup's coming up.
We got the NFL draft this week. Should we
NFL draft?
Should we break out? Well, I was going to ask. Should we break back out the draft, the wrestling draft?
Oh yeah, no, let's redraft, guys. Let's redraft.
You want to do a redraft episode?
Yeah.
Perfect.
We ain't got
Let's
anything
do
to
it.
do. Do you want to talk about Darby Allin next week?
I would actually love to go back and listen to the last time we did this and see where our teams are at now.
Well, I remember I picked fucking the quarter catch crew. Those guys haven't even seen the main roster. That was like 2 years ago.
True that. That's very interesting. You know, we have a lot of history now. You know, I told you guys I looked back and we became the We Are Marks in November of 2023. That's 2.5 years ago. And we had been called other things before that. So we're going on, you know, about 4 years here of our opinions being on this podcast. So it's actually kind of interesting to go back and listen to some of the things that we've said and either laugh or go, I was so right about that. And I can't wait to do that when we, hey, come back next week and we will. What are we gonna do? We're gonna draft our own promotions.
What did we do last time? We could do a 5 or 10. Yeah,
that's what
I'm
we did.
drafting the
We're gonna
Quakertown
redraft
Federation.
our own promotions. I guarantee you, I'll draft better because I just know a little bit more wrestling than these two idiots. Enjoy.
We are marks. We are marks. We are marks. Bob brought a